Hey guys, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the gear I use and pretty much everything that I bring with me to most of my shoots and everything that's in my bag. I get a lot of questions about all the different lenses I use, all the different cameras, all that jazz, so I figured this would be a good spot to just show everything that I have in my bag with me on a shoot. So without further ado, first let's take a look at the bag. It's a Langley bag. This bag I've had for a number of years now, and it's by far the most reliable bag I've ever used, the most comfortable to hike with. It's got a bunch of compartments down at the bottom for my camera stuff, and then I have a big pouch up here for film cameras or wardrobe for the models or anything like that, and then I have all these little side pockets to add batteries and whatnot. So Langley, check them out if you've never heard of them, and they really do make a good bag. It's all water resistant, wax coated. It's very nice. All right, without further ado, next up, I guess we'll look at this baby. This is my Polaroid camera of choice that I've been using for a number of years too. It is a Polaroid Impulse autofocus camera. I just like the fact that it's pretty small form factor. The photos come out pretty sharp because of the autofocus system, and it's a pretty sturdy camera. There's not really too many moving parts or anything that pops up that could really get broken or damaged. So that is a great choice right there if you're looking for a Polaroid camera. Next up, I guess we have this is the drone I use. It is a DJI Mavic Air. This came out a number of years ago, and as soon as it did, I jumped right on it. It's just such a tiny drone. I mean, you could fit it pretty much anywhere, and unfolds in a couple seconds, and you're good to go. So this has been my go-to for drone footage and drone photography for a while now. It's got 4K video, good megapixel count, colors are good. Everything about it is just really nice. I have an extra battery with that and the controller. So there's that. Next up would be my medium format camera. This is my primary workhorse when I'm doing a lot of model shoots and more of my fine artwork. This is a Mamiya 1000S 645 camera, and I have the 80mm f1.9 lens on it. Aside from the build of this camera, it's absolutely gorgeous. One of the main things I really love about this camera is the 80 f1.9 lens. It allows me to shoot a lot of low light indoor stuff, and since a lot of my stuff is taking place in abandoned buildings, this is a perfect setup for that. I have it equipped with the eye level viewfinder. This is nice because you don't have to deal with any sort of like parallax correction or anything like that, and it makes focusing the 1.9 way easier. It also has a built-in meter, so I can really just bring this camera with me and not have to worry about anything else. This is highly recommended, and these cameras you could pick up for very cheap on eBay. I think I got this for $200. So there's that. That's my film camera of choice. Next would be my digital camera. This is a Sony A7R II. Just the resolution, the video, everything about this camera, the form factor. I don't think I've loved the camera any more than this Sony. I've shot Canon, I've shot Nikon, and the Sony A7R II has to be by far the best camera I've ever used. Just its adaptability, which you'll see in a moment with the wide variety of lenses I shoot with. This is just amazing. So this for sure. And then people always ask me for SD card recommendations. I have the Sony SD cards. Their read and write speeds are by far the fastest out of all the cards, and it's Sony going into Sony, so I figure why not. They are a little bit pricier, but I've never had it fail on me. I've never had any issue with it, so well worth it as far as I'm concerned. Next up, we have probably the lens I use the most, which is a Sigma 24mm f1.4 art lens. I have the Canon version of the lens. I got this lens way back before they even made a Sony variant of it, so I have that with the Sigma MC11 adapter. If you are going to be using Canon adapted lenses, I highly recommend the Sigma MC11. This adapter works incredibly on all the Sigma art lenses and actually a variety of Canon lenses, even older Canon lenses. I've used the photodiox adapters, I've used the Metabones, all that. By far, this one outperforms all of them. So well worth the money, and actually they generally put it on sale a couple times a year, so keep an eye out for that and grab that. But yeah, this 24-1.4 is mainly my workhorse right here. After that, I would say the one I use the most after that would be my Sony 85-1.8 FE lens. This lens probably has the best colors and is the sharpest lens I've ever shot with to date on a camera. I use this for all my portrait work. I use this when I really want to separate the subject from the background. And the autofocus on it is smooth, accurate, very, very nice. And for the price point, this is probably the nicest 85mm lens you can own. So definitely a high recommend. Next up, we have an older lens. This is a Canon FD 135-2.8. I mainly use this when I need a little bit more range or I'm really looking to blow out a background. The 135-2.8 has such shallow depth of field, and these old Canon FD lenses are razor sharp, good colors. They're all metal construction, so they could really take a beating. This one has a nice built-in metal lens hood, as you can see here, that I really like about it, and it's all manual focus, manual aperture, so it really makes you slow down and think about the shots before you take them. These you could find real cheap on eBay, and highly recommend if you're looking for a 135 lens. This is a great option. Next up, I primarily work as a full-time product photographer, so I need a semi-decent macro lens. I'm actually looking to upgrade this sometime soon for the Sony version, but right now this is an old Canon 50mm macro that I have adapted for the Sony, and honestly this thing's tack sharp and has pretty much been everything I need as far as a macro lens goes. I don't use it all that often, but when I do, it's nice to have. And I think I actually think I picked up at a garage sale for like $20, so for the price point, you can't beat it either. Next up would be this guy. This is a Helios. This is the 58 f2 version. It's a Russian-made lens. I'm sure you've heard about these. These give a nice swirly bokeh in the background. It is a relatively soft lens, so I usually don't use it all that often, but when I really want a dream-like vibe or a shoot calls for it or a video or something like that, really want that swirly bokeh in the background, there's nothing better than one of these. And again, these are super cheap. You could pick them up on eBay for next to nothing. And again, if you want that more Holga-y, swirly, dreamy-like vibe, this is a good option for the Sonys. Finally, the last lens I got here is another Canon FD lens. This is a 100-300. This is primarily in my bag when I'm traveling, just in case I run up on a scene that I really want some good compression with, or there's some wildlife that I really want to shoot. This came in handy out in Death Valley photographing some coyotes, so that was nice. What I really like about this is it's a constant aperture of 5.6 throughout the whole zoom range, so you can set it and you don't have to worry about zooming in and losing some light and having to adjust. Again, the focus is real smooth on it. It's a push-pull zoom design, which I actually rather enjoy. It's real easy to find a subject and zoom right in on them. So again, don't use it all that often, but I think this is a pretty great version of this. If you need a telephoto that you're going to use maybe a handful of times on a trip, that's a good one to go with. Next up, something I always have in my bag is just this little LED video light. I mean, it gets pretty bright for what it is, but I've used this a lot in abandoned places just to see where I'm going, but also if I need a little bit of light coming from a lamp or behind something, or just a hair light or rim light, or just a little extra fill light, this is a great option. It runs on AA batteries, and honestly the batteries last quite a while in it. It's pretty efficient for how much you use it. So, and again, this I think is the newer version, the CN160, and I think it was like $20-30 on Amazon, so nice thing to just throw in the bag and have. After that, another flashlight I have is this little 900 lumen. It's got a magnet on the back, it's got a hanger, it's got a little kickstand. This I found on Amazon. I think it was $10 maybe. It might have even been cheaper than that. It's got a little row of LEDs up here, but this comes in handy as well. It's very bright, and the form factor is tiny. Runs off AAA's, and again, I can stick it to something metal anywhere, and I've used it to light up lamps to make it look like there's power in abandoned places, so I think this is a great option for stuff like that. Next up is my memory card holder. This is just a waterproof, padded, pretty much anything proof, holds a bunch of memory cards. I mean, everybody has one of these, so there's that. Next, I have a Leatherman. This I can't recommend enough. It's just something for the size and all the tools that come with it. You might as well keep it in your bag, because you're always going to run into a spot where you need a screwdriver or a knife or scissors or anything, and this usually has something that'll make it work on there. So definitely worth bringing around, especially if you travel or hike a lot. Next up, we got, this is just a filter set for the drone. Just 3 different step-down ND filters for it, because shooting in daylight, you want to make sure you keep your shutter speed correct. Next is something I've been using as of recently. This is a Cocken Diffuser 2 P084 filter. This adds a very soft focus, dreamlike, very soft highlights, vintagey, almost 80s, 90s feel to stuff. I've used it for a couple photo shoots. If you remember my Valentine's Day photo shoots and stuff like that, I think I sprinkled in a couple of these with it. I'm excited to use it more this summer with midday shooting. I think that'll give a nice vibe. Never really was a fan of midday light, but I think this will actually help out and make me more of a fan. The Diffuser 2 really is diffused. I would recommend maybe the Diffuser 1 if this is something you're just trying to dabble with. I myself am picking up the Diffuser 1 to use probably more often than this one, but I think for video work, this will really come in handy. So that's always usually in my bag. And finally, because I do shoot Sony, batteries. Now these are a ton of batteries. You may be saying, yeah, because Sony suck with batteries. Well, they're not the greatest, but also not the worst. Honestly, I can do an entire portrait session on a battery or two. The reason I have so many is when I travel, I tend to be away from chargers or anything of that sort for a couple days on end. And obviously, I don't want to run out of juice. So might as well have more than enough batteries. And then aside from that, the only other things I usually bring with me is my laptop, which is a 2018 MacBook Pro. It's the newest version. That's currently right here running audio for me. And that's about it. I mean, that's all my gear. If you have any questions about it or want to know where I got anything or what versions of anything, just leave a comment or reach out to me, and I'll be happy to answer any of those questions. But I think as of now, that's everything. Thanks again for watching, and I hope this helps clear some of the stuff up with what I shoot with and the gear I use day to day. So thanks again. Have a good one.